Good afternoon to you all. Thank you for all coming. I'd like to introduce the people with me. My name, of course, is Gord Cudmore. To my right is my legal assistant, Perry Douglas. You, of course, know Mayor Joe Fontana. And to his left is my executive assistant, Marilyn Davies. To start off, Joe wishes to make a statement. Joe?
Well, first of all, thank you, Gord, and thank you, Gord and Perry, for hosting this event, and for those who are watching, thank you very much for your support. I truly understand and realize some anguish and pain, disappointment, frustration, anger that has been caused by this incident. I feel it right here for the people of London, for my family, for my colleagues, for those who have supported me, for those people who care about our city. I love our city. We have an incredible, glorious past, a great present, and even a greater future. I am innocent of all of these charges, and I intend to fight as hard as I possibly can to clear my name. You know, just about 2 years ago, I and my colleagues were given a mandate by the citizens of London. The weather was a little different, as you can remember. We had snowmageddon. But that's when the city came together, worked together, helped one another to get us through that storm. We learned that by working together, we can accomplish an awful lot. And just 2 or 3 days ago, I produced a report for council that spoke about what we've been able to accomplish by working together, not only the 15 members of council, but Londoners, business, labor, community groups, all coming together, wanting to create one of the best cities, I believe, in the country and in the world. That's our mandate. Last night, I submitted my resignation to the London Police Services Board, but today, I am telling you that I was given a mandate, a responsibility, an obligation to lead this city, to work with my colleagues, to work with the community, to create that great city that we all want. Each and every day, men and women wake up each and every morning, working for their families, working to make this a great city. And London is greater than just one person. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. There has been substantial misinformation and speculation over the past several weeks as to what actually occurred regarding payment of the Fontana wedding. The fact is, the Fontana family paid for the wedding. The allegations at present pertain to a $1,700 room deposit. I can tell you now that at the appropriate time, we will be entering not guilty pleas, and we will be defending these charges. At that time, Mr. Fontana will be given the opportunity to clear his good name, and we intend to do just that. We are quite aware that we are working in 2 courts. One is the court of law, the other the court of public opinion. In the former court, it's based upon the presumption of innocence. I happen to believe in our justice system, and I would like to think that the people of London and the public agrees with me, and that they would apply the same presumption. In accordance with that principle, it has been and continues to be my decision that Joe not say anything about the allegations. Not only is there a presumption of innocence, but I believe my client to in fact be innocent. I am prepared to entertain questions if they're directed at me, but I can't promise I will answer them.
Well, I got a question for Joe. Let's have a hypothetical here. Let's say
No
London Free
questions.
Press uncovered a trove of documents from another point in your political career related to expenses. Do you think we would find anything that was questionable?
Don't answer that.
Gord, I guess I'll direct this to you then. Is Mayor Fontana, who you're speaking on behalf of, is he planning to step aside? He didn't address that directly with respect to City Council and his role as mayor.
No.
Okay, thank you.
Joe, your support on council seems to be being chipped away. How can you push through a budget, push through a third straight tax freeze when clearly some of the members of your voting bloc have said that they're not comfortable with the situation?
Don't answer that.
With respect to these charges, they were laid when Joe was a member of Parliament and a federal minister of the Crown. He's retained Gord Cudmore, a well-respected and not inexpensive local lawyer. Who would be footing the bill for the services, Gord?
Mr. Fontana.
Mr. Fontana.
Gord, I have never seen a press conference like this before where you, in a sense, back your client against a wall. It seems like an uncomfortable environment. Are you feeling sort of a bit of pressure from it, Joe? Are you comfortable with this, or?
Of course. And I think I've addressed all your questions.
Except for the one I just asked.
The one is that I indicated that I'm not stepping aside. I'm not going to abandon my post. I have a responsibility and obligation that was given to me by the people of London 2 years ago, like they did to my colleagues. I am confident that this council, the community come together so that we can complete the work that's been requested of us.
Do you feel you have the support of the city by and large?
I think so.
Based on
a lot of things. People call me each and every day. They tell me that they like what I'm doing as mayor, that they want me to work as hard as I possibly can with the vision that we've all put together. And I'm confident that we can do the work that is necessary to do in the next 2 years.
So not a historic low for City Hall?
No.
What about those who don't feel that you can lead?
With a fraud, while facing a fraud.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
How do you lead a $1 billion budget process while facing a fraud charge?
My reading of the Charter of Rights says that we have a presumption of innocence in this country. It's not lip service, it's not just a fancy saying. It's an absolute right. And I would like to think that the public would believe in that right. Mr. Fontana is presumed to be innocent of any charges.
Will fighting these charges not present a distraction to you as you attempt to lead the city?
Absolutely not.
Will it be a distraction for investors, potential investors that you're trying to bring to London?
Absolutely not. London is a great city. We've got a lot to offer. It's not a distraction. In fact, 2 days ago I met with Japanese investors. This city has a lot to offer. And so I'm confident that London is what we're all trying to build and create those opportunities for people. So that's what it's about. It's about London.
But there's crushing negative attention across the country today. It's all negative. It's all about London. You don't think that's going to have an effect?
I think the crushing negative opinion is from people who don't understand the basic principles of our justice system and have no respect for it.
So the entire mainstream press of the country?
I'm not saying the entire mainstream. That's your opinion. It's the entire
Here's what's
mainstream.
happening across the country. There are 2 mayors in Quebec who have resigned and there were no charges laid. Why are you in any different when charges have in fact been laid in your case?
I'm innocent. I'm innocent. And I've been given a mandate by the people of London to discharge my obligations and responsibilities. And I think Gord has answered the question. I am innocent of those charges, and I intend to fulfill my responsibilities.
And yet other mayors have stepped back and chosen to deal with this in the courts and feel that they can't lead a city with...
Well, I can lead, and that was their choice. That's not my choice.
Whose choice?
Other people. My choice is to stay and do my job and work with my colleagues, work with the community, because we've accomplished a lot in the last 2 years, and we can accomplish a lot more in the next 2 years.
And yet you have protesters outside, you have a petition circulating. What about those people who don't feel that you have the leadership anymore?
I was given a mandate 2 years ago. The people spoke then.
Joe, why did you step down from the Police Services Board?
I can answer that. The Police Services Act has provision in it that requires someone facing charges to step aside, and he complied with that. The Municipal Act carries no such provision.
If there is a conviction, will you step aside then?
I'm not even going there.
So some of your council allies have blamed the press, specifically the London Free Press, for their situation. I'm wondering if you share that opinion.
Gord, how long will this stretch out? Any idea?
I don't. We all know that the justice system moves rather slowly. I can tell you in terms of the process that will take place, the first appearance will be on January the 8th. At that time, we appear in what is known as A Court, First Appearance Court, and at that time, we will be provided with what's called disclosure that the RCMP believe forms the foundation of their allegation. We have not seen that as yet, nor have we seen all the documentation. At that time, we will review the disclosure. We will have discussions with the Crown to determine things we agree on, things we don't agree on. There would then be scheduled what's called a preliminary hearing in the Ontario court, and if the matter goes beyond a preliminary hearing, it then would move to Superior Court for a trial.
Well over a year?
I would say a year.
Joe, is it going too far to say that this is the toughest obstacle you've faced in your 30-plus years in politics?
No.
What would be the toughest obstacle?
Look, at each and every day I wake up trying to do the best I possibly can in all my work. And in my 30 years, I've treated the responsibilities given to me by the city, by my constituents. I treat that as the most significant thing that I can do, and I am focused, totally focused on how to move forward with our city. And that's what drives me each and every day. I'm inspired by the work that men and women do each and every day. I am focused. I have done over 1,300 events in 2 years, and in the past month or month and a half, I have done equally as much. My duties I take seriously. I intend to discharge them each and every day because I'm inspired by the people of the city, citizens of London. I know that our city is a great city, and I want to work with my colleagues and with all of Londoners to create the best city in the country.
Those same citizens are now a month into this situation. Don't you think you owe them an explanation, as Gordon suggested that you have, for the $1,700 check stuff? You please need an explanation.
Those will be explained.
When?
But in a courtroom where they should be explained. What I can point out to you is that 5 weeks ago, people were talking about a $20,000. It's now been established that that was not right. Now we're talking about $1,700, and I don't minimize the allegations, so don't misinterpret me that way. But it's $1,700, and I told Mr. Fontana not to talk when they were alleging $20,000. I'm telling him not to talk now. The appropriate place to answer these charges is in a courtroom, and that's where we're going to do it.
That may be true generally, but this
Not generally.
This is the highest. This is the holder of the highest political office in the city.
So what? He'd no longer.
No, I would never say that. I think it's more complicated than it is.
Of course, it's more complicated. We don't normally have press conferences for all my clients.
Joe, have you heard from your old friend Paul Martin, and if so, what has he said?
No comment.
Mr. Cudmore, if I could, you know about the court of law. You said there are two courts. There's the court of law and there's the court of public opinion. You know about the court of law. As a radio talk show host, I know a little bit about the court of public opinion. At least 95% are demanding that Joe Fontana step aside. Are we saying today that the court of public opinion simply doesn't matter?
No, I'm not saying that at all. That's why I mentioned the court of public opinion. But I would like to think that the court of public opinion will wait to hear all the facts as they come out in a courtroom rather than in a media scrum or a press conference. I think the court of public opinion is very important. If I didn't think the court of public opinion was important, we wouldn't be even hosting a press conference. We'd have just sent out a statement saying we're going to court, we're not talking. That's why we're here.
Gord, you said that the $20,000 has been proven, in your words, not to be correct.
That's my understanding.
What is the proof?
I understand the RCMP have documentation proving it was paid by the Fontana family. I haven't seen it, but that's my understanding.
Mayor, you keep saying that you were given a mandate 2 years ago. Do you think you would be given the same mandate today with the people of London knowing what they know about these allegations and charges?
But that's why we have elections every 4 years.
Do you think you would be given the same mandate today?
That's what I've been given a mandate, and I intend to stick to that mandate and do my responsibilities, take my responsibilities very seriously and obligations, and I intend to complete my term.
Do you not think it would be responsible to have another election to give the people of London another chance in the court of public opinion here?
No.
Gord, Gary Enid.
Yes, sir.
How are you going to defend this charge in relation to the $1,700 in light of the fact that the RCMP probably has gathered a fair bit of documentation? This would seem to be a pretty formidable task, would it not?
I love the word probably. I haven't seen the documentation, and I don't want to talk about it and speculate, but my information from the RCMP as it relates to a deposit for a room. And there were a number of deposits, my understanding, made that year for a room for various other events as well. That's why I don't like talking about it in the public. I have not seen all the documentations, but certainly from what I've seen and understand so far, there is a very, very valid defense to the allegations.
Mr. Mayor, if your council next week votes on a motion asking you to step aside while this is in court, will your response change?
No. It'll be the same as I just responded. I intend to complete my mandate.
So even if council isn't willing to work with you, you'll stay in?
Well, I would expect council would respect the charter, respect person's rights, and work with them on the other things. And if Joe is prepared to focus on the city, so should they. Thank you very much for all your questions, attending.